Hello, everybody. Welcome to my section on losing friends. I had a really interesting thing happen this week where I had a friend and she dumped me because I told her something she wanted to know it, but then she didn't want to know it. So that's the speaking the truth thing. And then a friend of ours, which is a mutual friend, I found out she's seriously ill with a very, very bad cancer. I decided that I'd let the friend know, the dumper, because she dumped me and she dumped this other lady as well. And it got me thinking to what do you do when you find out if you've either been estranged from your friend through your choice or you were dumped? What do you do when you find out when they're sick or terminally ill? Like now you have a whole new situation coming up. I mean, how do you deal with that? And I wanted to talk about that a little bit today. The first thing is that time passes and the anger and the hurt can dissipate quite a lot when we've had a split up of some sort. And there could be more chance of forgiveness because it's in the past now and we're both really probably quite different people we could be. The sickness gives an opportunity, I think, or the tragedy, for example, even if they've had some tragedy in their life you hear about, you can use that to think of it as an opening for the olive branch to make peace again with them, perhaps give support now for them if they would like it, and actually even mend the relationship. So it is actually an opportunity. That's how I felt it with the three of us. Like two were dumped and the one in the middle dumped both of us. But I had reconnected with the other lady. She'd connected with me and then found out she was very seriously ill. Now it gives the opportunity for those two people to reunite their relationship. I don't feel that my relationship with the middle person will work anymore because she doesn't want it to. However, it was a different issue between the other two. They can now let bygones be bygones, let go of the grudges and be upset, forgive each other and come from love. And just for the last part of this lady's life, because I feel that she won't live for very long, she has pancreatic cancer, which is not a good cancer for survival. And so I feel that there's an opportunity there for reconciliation and love again and to make your peace with one another before she passes. What you do with that is really up to you. Like the person I told, now it's up to her. She might not want to go in anymore. She might want to control it. She's too stubborn. She won't forgive. And she's not coming from a loving space, really, because this person is really in need now. They're very, very ill. And sometimes people want to make reconciliation before they die and repair some things. I feel it's something that comes up that isn't always a negative situation. Sometimes the positive of it is that you can reconnect. You have a reason to reconnect. You can come in again and start anew. And I think you should think of it that way. So if ever you get a chance in your life where you get told that some friend of yours who you're not with for the reasons, could be you or could be them, you can actually see it as an opportunity to go in. You've got nothing to lose. You really don't have the friendship. So you only have that you could have one, which would be good. And you could actually support them during their time of need. It's something our society probably is very strict about. People are very judgmental and they don't see forgiveness as a good thing. Some people wear unforgiveness as a badge. I'll never forgive, I'll never forgive. However, sometimes situations happen where we can actually put that aside and for the greater good to forgive and do the right thing. We've all heard of these times when people have gone in, things have gone really badly in the relationship, they're estranged, the person gets sick or has some kind of huge traumatic thing happened in their life, a tragedy, and the old person comes back in to try and help, and it's okay. So think openly about it. I think that we change all the time. What you were like 3 years ago is different to 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And if we're trying to be more loving, kind people and opening our heart, then these things can be healed. We can heal these friendships. There are some friendships that aren't healthy for us, I know that. But even within this, you could go in for a short time, a little at a distance possibly, and particularly if the person's going to pass, it's probably good. The other outcome that's good is that If you maybe will or won't do it, think about the future, because you don't want to live with that guilt or regret. That's really hard to live with. Do it in a good way if you decide to go in, and then you never have to feel guilty or have regret, because you don't get a second chance. If someone's dying, you don't get another chance. This is just a little gateway from here to there, and then there's no more chances. And I think it's actually really good for the soul to step up in love and come from unconditional love, and let everything go and be there for that person. That's humanity. That's kindness. And we can be kind to people who even have been quite mean to us. Doesn't mean we can't be kind, especially in their hour of need. The other one, of course, is the tragedy. If they've had tragedy, maybe they've lost somebody, or their child died, or there's been a big car accident, some tragic thing, and you find out about it, you can still go in if you want to. And even if you sent a card or did something, it doesn't mean they might want to be friends with you anymore, but it's that you are loving and that you are kind. Everyone has to make up their own mind about this one. I felt that it was an opportunity for these two estranged friends who'd been together like for 30 years. It was a long friendship, and then it ended because of some squabbling. It was something that they both probably missed each other and still loved each other, but neither of them knew how to mend it. And this was like a gateway. I think it's like a love gateway that you can go through because you love each other, and you just put everything aside. It's also a very beautiful opportunity to have again. Maybe you don't get that and you're never friends, but if you get this, it's an opportunity, especially if it's a tragedy, because people don't necessarily die when they've had a tragedy. And they're going to need a lot of help and a lot of support. And you knew each other really, really well, probably. So you have a lot of understandings between each other, and you know how the other person ticks, and you know what will make them happy and how you can heal it for them. And also you will also be good at dealing with any of their irritations, or if they're a bit cranky sometimes, you'll know how to do that. Think about it. Don't see end of friendships as always the end. Sometimes there's lots of little endings. And as I've said to you before in the podcast, I've had people that I've gone back 3 times to reconnect. And just recently with one of them, on the 3rd attempt, the person was sort of ready, and the relationship's pretty much gone back to how it was before. And it's a happy part of our lives, her and me. It doesn't always work out that way, but sometimes we have to help people, open the door for them because they can't do it themselves, and then they have the choices, and that's what I'm talking about here. And the other thing is it's just human kindness to offer love and support when somebody's in a worse position than you are and they are suffering. Because when people are suffering, there's not judgment's not important, or who did what and whatever. It's more important that you alleviate their suffering if you can, and if they'll let you in. If you're listening to this, you've probably had this situation. I found it an interesting week for me because I was the 3rd person in the group, but it wasn't really about me. I was just the bridge in case these 2 people wanted to cross it and meet in the middle before she dies. Then it's up to them. And you might find yourself in a situation like that as well. So if you've got a group of people but there've been some problems and you find out, you can always be the one who gives the other 2 people an opportunity to reconnect if they want to. That's how I saw it. It wasn't my stuff really. I was just the messenger, and then it was their stuff. And I think too it's good because then people can sort of grow up and stop being sulky little things and spoiled brats about stuff, and realise the bigger picture here is serious, and to get over themselves and just do what I call the right thing and be kind and loving to one another. Of course, there are relationships that we know that are bad for us and unhealthy to get back into close, but you can always send a prayer to them, light a candle for them, ask in your way that the last part of their life or the tragedy is alleviated to some degree. If you can't be with them, you can do it like from a distance. That's what I'm saying, if it's not safe to go in. But there's always ways to grow and become better people, and I think our friends can teach us that. So I hope you have a nice week, and I'm sending you lots of love And think about this, because I think this occurs particularly as you get older and more people getting sick. And if you find out, don't be pig-headed. Have a think about whether you want to just reach out to that person and offer love and support when they're going through a really, really bad time. And that's all I have to say this week. I found it a really interesting week, actually. A little piggy in the middle here, and I'll talk to you soon.